Hey guys, it's me, and it's our self-imposed snow day today, so I'm doing lecture online. Welcome to my really messy desktop. Anyway, some of you guys, the day people, advanced photography, you've already gotten your assignment, but you may or may not want to check this out and refresh your memory. I will be making a second video going over how to do the masking, so if you don't need to redo the assignment, go ahead and stop this video now and go to the second part of it if you want to refresh your memory how to do the masking. But for those of you, the night class especially, you haven't gotten your assignment yet, so let me go real quick and explain to you what your assignment is. It's up on Blackboard. It's another kind of low light, longer exposure assignment. It's a little different than drawing with light. You won't necessarily be drawing with light, but you will be using your longer exposure settings to get some nighttime photos. If you'll notice, there's only 3 photos that you're going to be doing this week. That is because I want you to really take your time and really focus on getting the best photos that you can for this. So instead of making you do 5 photos, I really want you to focus on these 3. 2 of them may not be that difficult for you, and that's great, and 1 might be more difficult, or maybe all 3 might be a challenge. The idea is that I wanted this to be kind of challenging. This might be something you haven't tried yet. And so introducing you to something new you can start playing with. So the first one here you see we have, I want you to take a picture of a neon sign. Go out somewhere at night and find a nice colorful neon sign and take a photograph of it. Sounds simple enough, but it is a little trickier than it sounds, because you do need to get the neon sign to where the structure of the tubes is very pronounced and nice and crisp. We don't want to blow it out and make it all hazy looking. You also want to maintain the color of the neons, which sometimes is kind of hard to do. Sometimes you kind of blow it out and you lose the really pretty colors. So you want to make sure you try to get the good color. But in all of that, you could probably pull that off pretty well, but you might notice that wherever the neon sign is hanging, in the photograph will look like a solid black backdrop. But I don't want you to do that. I want you to be able to show where the neon sign is hanging too. So if it's in a window or on somebody's wall or something, I want to be able to see the wall as well, or the building and the surrounding area. You want to fill the frame with predominantly the neon sign, but you also do want to show its surroundings too. So make sure that you take your time and try to find a nice balance. As I told the day people, this may not be one exposure. You may actually have to get creative and get a couple exposures and then go into Photoshop and find a way to find a happy balance between all of these elements to get a fantastic photo. And I will be showing you some examples here pretty soon. Second photo you're going to take is going to be a street scene with street lights. So you want to find just downtown or someplace that has, a lot of street lights somewhere. The idea is you want to use your manual settings so that the lights that on your street scene have a starburst appearance, and I will show you how to do that. The key here is setting your aperture, and we did discuss in the day group what that meant, and a couple people, at least one person I know of, had said, well, I've done that before, I played with it and I have achieved it. And I said, well, how did you do that? She said, well, a really small aperture, which is the key. Your aperture needs to be super small, and then you need to keep your ISO at a lower number so you don't get a lot of noise, but then adjust your shutter speed so that you can get a nice clear photograph that's well lit, but your street lights, whatever points of light you have, will come out to look like what I call twinkle stars or starbursts. The third photo is going to take a little bit of work. It's going to take some planning. Might take a little spray paint or string or duct tape or whatever. The idea is you're going to create a composite photo of the same exact scene, only you're going to do one photograph of it at night and one photograph of it at day. And then you're going to come in and you're going to mask the two together to create kind of a really unusual, surrealistic photograph of that scene. Most people choose to do landscapes. You'll see the examples that I have. They are landscape photos, but some of the elements in the photograph are day and some of them are night, and they're brought together to kind of create a interesting looking photograph. So Again, I will reiterate, you guys are just going to take these photos. You're not going to upload them. They're not due this week because I'm giving you time for the next class period to come in and be able to do your night and day one, especially. Most people, if you don't have Photoshop at home, it's your time that you can take time to get it done. Or if you're not so good with masking or you tried it and it didn't work, then you can, you'll have me there at class time. This project will be due at the end of class next week, so no big rush. Take your time and get really good photos. Here are some of our examples. Here's one that a student did. They went downtown and they went to the Fitz's restaurant, and they have the neon. If you notice, the neon is fairly crisp. We can definitely see the lines. And they also have the surrounding area is well lit enough that we can see where that sign is being hung. I really like the lighting on this, how the light from the neon was showing on the truck and lit it up. My flicker was running really slow earlier, so I'm sorry. Here's another neon down in the loop. Obviously this is Blueberry Hill. We know this is Blueberry Hill, or I know this is Blueberry Hill, but if you notice the neon here, it's all blown out. Yeah, it's yellow, but if you didn't know this was Blueberry Hill, you might have a hard time reading that because it's so overexposed that the neons don't have a nice crisp appearance to the tubes. It's all just the glow just kind of overtakes it. So that's what you really want to avoid doing, is having the glow overtake everything. Go on to the next here. Here we have what I call the twinkle star or the starburst effect. If you do this right, any points of light you have will take on kind of a starburst appearance. So this is up to you wherever you want to do this. You don't have to necessarily do it outside. I've seen some people have been able to achieve that by doing it inside on a chandelier. I know it's cold, so I will allow you to do it inside if you want. Normally during the spring and summer, I would normally tell everybody go outside, but since the weather is so cold, I understand if you want to stay inside. Now here's an example of the night and day. I did say that when it comes to doing the night and day, I don't like this really brisk line here. I want it more of an even gradient. But if you notice, they took a photograph of the same scene at night and at daytime, well, more evening time, and then they brought them together. Hopefully we can get through this quickly. Here's another starburst. Here's another composite. Like I said in the day class, I wasn't real keen on this line. I don't like it because it's a little too rough for me. I want it to be flow a little more. So like I said, I thought maybe it would have been a better idea to have maybe the land here be one exposure and the nighttime sky maybe with daytime land or something. I think would have worked a lot better. Here's another neon. You will need to study your camera so you don't get shake, because shake messes up your neon. It's not nice and crisp. Here's a really nice one. It's well lit. Obviously it's inside, but you see the neon's well lit. Nice crisp look to the tubes, but we can also see where it's hung, its surrounding area. I think everybody really liked this one in the day class because it's funny. I'm trying to hurry up. I only have 10 minutes per video, and I don't want to make a bunch of videos if I don't have to. Here we go, we have Christmas lights. Obviously I stole this one somewhere off of Flickr, but it does show really nicely the starburst effect. So Christmas lights are fun to play with, so maybe it's something to do later. Here's one with a chandelier inside. Whoops, here's another one, street scene. These are all in a gallery under my profile, so you can always go in and look at these. Just go into my profile and find my galleries, and there's a day-night gallery. This one is Chicago, and I like this better. The gradient is a lot nicer. So you have nighttime, but you also have daytime, so that's more what I'm looking for. Obviously, these examples are a little more professional looking, but they do really capture the idea of what I want. I want it to look normal, but then when you really stop and look at it, you realize something's not quite right, and then you realize you have nighttime and you have daytime in the same photo, which I think is a really cool effect. I'm about to run out of time on this video. So here's another one in New York with daytime here and nighttime up here. And here's one that was in Tempe, Arizona, where we have nighttime with things lit up and then kind of dusky daytime there. And that's all for that gallery, so you kind of get an idea. Like I said, go into the galleries and look, or look up, around Flickr and find like day and night photos. You might be surprised some cool things you can do. I'm going to make another video showing you how to do masking.